Hi guys, I'm pet nutrition blogger Rodney Habib, and I'm all the way out in Pembroke, Nova Scotia on this beautiful farm that I just had this wonderful tour of my good friend Julianne Lee, a beautiful and wonderful homeopath. Now, she's got this awesome product launch that's going to be coming out called the Adored Beast Apothecary. But I think the big question, Julie, and a lot of pet parents out there is what the heck is homeopathy? I mean, to me, it's like these tiny little white pellets in this vial, and I know it's done wonders for my dog, and you've healed my dog, and I'm so grateful for it. But if you had to explain it to people, what is it exactly?
Well, you're not the only one that feels like that. It's homeopathy is a medicine where it triggers the body into mirroring this a similar disease. So it's called the philosophy is called likes cures likes. So as an example, my partner Jesse is allergic to bee stings, or bees. So when he gets stung by a bee, I actually give him apis, and apis is made from bee venom. So you're literally giving a small amount of a substance that will, I guess, charge the body up into actually seeing and recognizing what it needs to treat.
And it doesn't hurt the body because, I mean, reality, think about it. I'm giving somebody bee stings to help a bee sting, right? It almost seems like it's like sort of a crazy thought. But, I know you've explained this to me before, it's basically taking the energy out of something, sort of the substance out of something, rather. So you didn't actually give just the venom.
No, no, I didn't. So you're right. So you are learning.
Yeah, there you go, right?
So what happens is that they actually reduce it down. So you are just basically getting the energy. So it's diluted down. The more it's diluted, the stronger actually the energy of the medicine is. If you kind of think of quantum physics, it's similar to quantum physics.
Super neat. So I guess the big question is, and for a lot of people out there that have no idea how you got started, so you're a Canadian girl. So you're like on the other side of Canada. I mean, your story for me came in from Dogs Naturally magazine, as we both write for them. But I've heard these wonderful stories of you starting way on the other side. So you actually had a holistic practice on the other side of the island over on Vancouver, correct?
Right.
And was it there's a first there somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So what is that exactly?
Well, first of a lot of things really, but I opened the first licensed holistic veterinary hospital clinic in Canada.
Wow.
And that was started the whole process in 94. Wasn't very well received. I didn't want to be a vet clinic.
Right.
I wanted to just be a referral practice, and it was not allowed to do that. So they said, no, the only way you can do this is to have a veterinary clinic. And I thought, well, how am I going to do that, right? But I thought, if that's the only way I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it. So they said you have to be a licensed practice. So I employed a really amazing veterinarian, Dr. Dave Roosh, and we went for it. And they didn't know how to license us. They wanted us to put a whole bunch of drugs in. They wanted us to, it was just crazy, and we refused. And it went on and on and on and on until finally we didn't have one drug in our licensed veterinary clinic. We had, our primary modality was homeopathy, and it was amazing. Like it just took off like crazy.
And so in your journey, I mean, I know when we talk, you've been to like all parts of the world, especially studying and learning and educating. So what parts of the world have you seen? Like, where have you gone?
Well, I did a human 4-year homeopathic medicine program in Vancouver. And then had a huge gift. I always say it was an angel on my shoulder, which were all the spirits of my animals in my past. And I was accepted, even though I wasn't a conventional vet, I was accepted into England to train with some of the most amazing homeopathic veterinarians in the world. And Sue Armstrong and John Saxton, Chris Day, Mark Elliott, all those guys. And they just took me under their wing, and I studied with them for 3 years in England. And then I went with them to summer courses, and I went to India, trained with Rajan Sankaran, and I went with them to Greece and trained with George Volthoukas. So yeah, I've been super lucky. I've gone all over the world to train.
All right, well, let's talk about the exciting stuff now, and let's talk about the new product line that you're coming out with, which is super exciting, the Adored Beast. What's the backstory on this, man? The name, all of it, where's this coming from? I know this is part of your journey that you've been on.
Yeah, well, Adored Beast it is actually pretty funny, because I wanted to call, back in 94, 97, when all of this turmoil and political craziness was happening, you were not allowed to call your vet clinic anything that had a word in it like health, wellness, integrative, nothing. You weren't allowed to use it. I put in about 60 names. Every one of them was turned down. So they wanted us to call it Broadway Veterinary Hospital, and that's crazy. Somebody's going to get hit by a car, come into our clinic, and we don't even have a surgery.
Right.
Like, it's just nuts. So I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to call it? So I went home, and I had this awesome book about love, and had a whole paragraph about the love of animals, and it was called Beast Adored. And I thought, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel about animals. I absolutely adore them. I would do anything for them. So I called it the Adored Beast Veterinary Clinic. And I put it into the Vet Association, and they sent it back, and they said, we find this offensive. We find the word beast offensive. So I said, awesome, give it to me, because you don't want anyone to come anyway, so bring it on. So it's called Adored Beast Veterinary Clinic. So I just thought the product should be named the same thing.
So Julie, one of the big questions, of course, and it's swirling all over the internet today, and pet parents are seeing it, this syndrome, this disease, whatever you want to call it, leaky gut. I mean, right now it's all over human literature, it's all over the human sites, but it's sort of stemming its way into the animal field of things. You know, if for a guy like myself, if you had to keep it as layman as possible, what the heck is leaky gut?
Leaky gut is literally what you just said. It's when the gut mucosal lining leaks things that should be holding back. So you think of your gut, think of your mucosal lining looking like a cheesecloth or a filter, a fine netting. Those are called junctions. Those junctions should be finely knit like
Right.
this. And then the proteins and stuff that should be going into our system that are very tiny just slip through, and that's what should be happening. As the inflammation happens in the gut, the junctions spread apart, and the holes in your netting become enlarged. When that happens, large particles of anything that should not be getting through that gets through, like proteins and toxins and undigested food particles, go into the bloodstream
Right.
and into the lymphatic system and create absolute havoc.
So with my dog, and a lot of pet parents out there are going to be wondering today, like, what the heck are the symptoms? I know that I did a test with Dr. Gene Dodds at HemoPet, and when I got the results back, you know, I was floored. Here are 2 pages of all the different types of proteins in the world, and my dog was flaming with all of them. So, of course, NutriScan tests can be an easy way of determining, but what are some other symptoms that, you know, pet owners can look when they're trying to diagnose their animal, or the signs that an animal can give that they may be affected by leaky gut?
Everything. Almost everything and anything. It can start off with something super simple like an ear infection. It can look like skin disease, allergies, you know, the typical allergy dog where they go in, they get, you know, steroids or they get antibiotics, it goes away, comes back, goes away, comes back.
Right.
Reoccurring things that
Right.
just do not seem to fix itself or even be fixed by drugs.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of pet owners out there who say, I can't give my dog anything. It seems like anything I feed him today, he's reacting to. So, I mean, there's a really good sign there of leaky gut. But what would you say causes leaky gut? What are like some of the causes today? I mean, is it something environmental? Could it be something food related? In your opinion, what do you think is going on?
Everything. But I think in our dogs and cats and our pets, and people is the overuse of antibiotics. So what happens is it kills the natural flora in the gut, doesn't differentiate. If there is not enough gut flora, what happens is that the body becomes full of yeast, or the gut becomes full of yeast, an overgrowth of yeast and bad bacteria. It inflames the netting, and when the netting becomes inflamed, it just starts to spread open.
Right. What about the symptoms of leaky gut? So as a pet parent, what am I looking at when I'm looking at my dog exactly if they've got leaky gut?
It could be a rash of different things. So often diseases that come and go, they have to constantly be on drugs, something that's chronic. Skin diseases like skin allergies. Well, you can't just address the allergy if you don't address the cause of the allergy. So you can remove all of these proteins and everything that your animals are allergic to, but if you're not sealing this gut, everything new that they're eating is going to, which is what's happening with Sammy, is just going to continue to slip past, and then the body's going to react to it and create another allergy. It's just going to keep going.
So Julie, with all the different types of complexities to leaky gut, and I mean all the different types of variations, it seems like it would be super challenging for a pet owner to just try to control it. What sort of treatments or options do pet parents have today if they want to deal with this leaky gut syndrome?
Well, I think, like I said, it's not just skin stuff. It can be arthritis, it can be seizures, it can be a wrath of things. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to rebalance the friendly bacteria. You have to stop giving drugs. You have to stop giving anything that's creating inflammation and toxicity to the body. So you remove anything like that, and then you start to feed your animal anything that will increase the friendly bacteria, like kefir, like probiotics, like anything that's fermented vegetables, things that are going to help that friendly bacteria cultivate as much as it can in the gut. Really, Rodney, like you've got to stop drugs, right? You've got to stop yearly vaccinations. You've got to stop using pesticides on them for fleas. The list just goes on and on. Not like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Every single time you continue to do that, you continue to insult the mucosal lining, and the disease just keeps happening.
Well, let's talk about a protocol that you're developing to help with this. I know that my dog Sam, we've been using this on her, but tell me how you've come about with this protocol.
Well, I think what's happening is it's really when you go on as a pet owner and you look at leaky gut or you look at any diseases online, you just get, especially if you're trying to do it naturally. In '94, there was like nothing. You couldn't even find it. People thought I flew in on a broom. But now you're bombarded with stuff. So there are about 10 or 11 exceptionally good products to help soothe the gut, decrease inflammation, revitalize the friendly bacteria, decrease the free radical scavenging. But to do that, you're going to have to go out and buy 15 or 16 things, and how do you use them? So what I've tried to do is create a protocol or a kit, and in the kit we'll have everything that you'll actually need to address the syndrome. So there's going to be 2 homeopathic remedies in it. One remedy actually is something called an anti-vaccinocin, because I believe in my heart that over-vaccinations is one of the number 1 causes of leaky gut in too young. And the next one is a homeopathic remedy to actually help to seal and heal the gut. The next one is a liver detox, because if you're trying to have anything detox the drug effects, the liver has to take over, so it's to support the liver. And then a digestive enzyme that helps to break the food down till the gut actually heals. And then the big one, which is taking everything from N-acetylglucosamine to turmeric to you name it, that will help to soothe the gut and heal the gut, is in one container, rather than having 16 different products that you're trying to get into your dog's food.
So Julie, here is one of the most controversial topics, one of the most talked about topics today on social media. You can't talk about this without a big, huge eruption breaking out between shelters, between people, and it's the spay and neuter topic. Look, first and foremost, I know that we have a huge overpopulation problem right now that's going on. And I'm not saying, don't spay or neuter. It's almost like vaccinating when you're talking about over vaccinating and you're saying, look, don't vaccinate. There's a big difference there. But the research and the data that's coming out, especially in the UC Davies study, is showing today that our procedures and the things that we're using are causing copious amounts of cancer. They're causing copious amounts of ligament problems. And there's a whole bunch of problems that stem with that. And I'm sure that you know all of those problems and you know this topic a lot better than I do. But can we talk about the controversial spay and neuter situation?
Yeah, it is a controversial topic, and I'm a controversial person, so that's fine. I just think we're not looking at the big picture. We absolutely need spay and neuter. We need to do, in some cases, young puppies, but in general, I don't believe in it. I feel like doing really, really young puppies and kittens, we're going to find a rash of animals in kill shelters because owners can't afford to pay for the diseases that are going to come from that. Right. Torn cruciate ligaments, the number one reason for animals in kill shelters and to be euthanized is actually skin disease, which is just crazy. So if we're euthanizing all these animals for diseases, the same thing's going to happen if we're taking sex hormones away from animals before they're even in puberty, while we actually need them to grow. So what I did was I knew that this was going to happen. I saw side effects of spaying and neutering animals even at 6 months of age, spay incontinence, torn cruciate ligaments, cancers. So I thought, how can I help? What can I do with this? So I thought, homeopathy is my main modality of medicine. I looked at, likes cures likes, what do we do to try to trigger the body into replicating something that we can't put a uterus back in, we can't put testicles back in, so what do I do? So I actually wound up giving them feline ovary and feline testy, canine ovary and canine testy, and I actually did a research on a cat shelter and cat rescue that I worked with in BC with the canine testy, and the decrease of male cats getting blocked using the homeopathic product was amazing, because when a cat is neutered young, their urethra gets really small. And the cats that started on the protocol didn't have as many incidents of blocking throughout the next 3 years. Wow. When we did it. So it's something that they have to be on for the rest of their life. It's not hard. It's not expensive at all. And you just have to give it to them once a month.
So Julie, with this awesome idea you have with your protocols, where you're making it a lot easier on the pet parents, where you're taking all of these things and condensing them down, so there's literally not 2 million vials and pill jars and everything all over the table. Let's talk about the site, the website itself, adoredbeast.com. This is a site that I know you're taking a lot of time to develop. You're making this a resource center, an information center for pet parents when they want to come there. It's not just going to be a product launch site. Tell me a little bit more about this site, because it sounds super exciting.
Well, I think what I've tried to do is take my veterinary hospital and the experience of the last 20 years and put it out into a much larger market. I mean, I actually did treat 35,000 animals. I can't even believe that. But I want to be able to make things simple. People are so overwhelmed with the amount of information on the website, on the internet now. I mean, it's awesome. Thank goodness that people can get alternative treatments and information. But I just hear it constantly. I don't know what to do. I've got all of these jars, and are they contraindicated? And they actually are. I mean, even though it's natural medicine, they shouldn't be on it all the time. Like an animal shouldn't be on, a person shouldn't be on an herbal treatment for its entire life. It's made to heal the body and then come off of it and then have wonderful maintenance things. So I am finding more and more people are in need of more specifics. So I've focused the site and the store on creating healthy steps for healthy animals, and where people can just come and buy a protocol to have everything in one box for them, to take the guesswork out, to take the stress out of how do I get my dog healthier. We're going to have educational blogs and videos and amazing people like you doing things. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to empower pet owners to be able to take more control of their animals' lives. And I'm even going to have a blog and information about how do you work with your vet. Like, sure, I can give you all this information, but you still need a vet.
Right.
So how do you work with your vet? How do you become a team? It's important. It's not like them against us against them. It's finding the right vet. How do I find the right vet? So even things like that will be on the website of how do we do that.
If you had like one overall message, you know, something that you wanted the pet parent at home to know, what would it be?
Wow, one thing. It's tough.
I like throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, you can see. I know you do. I think I've always from having the vet hospital to everything that I do. When I talk about empowering pet owners, I think I always wind up saying to people, you know your animal better than anybody does. Don't second guess your feelings. Don't second guess your gut sense. Just take what you feel in your heart and go with it. And above all, you need to be your animal's advocate. You need to be behind them. You need to say, no, I don't want you to take that biopsy. No, I don't want you to do that to my dog. No, I don't want my cat to go out of this room. I want you to do whatever you're going to do with me standing here. You got to be brave, man. You just got to like get out there and this is my animal and I'm taking charge.
And that's the Julie I know.